Yeah, so there's definitely, it's much better than last week for sure. There's still some areas though. See, this is working much better where he picks it up and pushes it onto himself. But even there, I'm seeing if I'm tracking, the arc on the, basically the tracking the spacing and where it's placed in visual space, it sort of goes vertically and then it stops there and then it goes horizontally instead of having this nice, like maybe dip and then arc out and then up and then down. So it does almost like a question mark, a reverse traveling question mark. I mean, the beats are there. Like I said, I definitely like what you're doing with the feet. The feet feel nice. That whole little like small little adjustment that you're adding in there, that feels really good. Okay, now let's go frame by frame and then we'll talk it through. Alrighty. So again, just a couple of things that can easily just push this pose a little bit is the smallest thing, which is just, maybe lifting one arm up. Maybe this arm is a little bit placed like this. Just bend the fingers a little bit. And maybe the other arm, maybe we could kind of see the edge of it on the shoulder here. And then and then it just drops a little bit more. So it's just by his side here. And just that alone, I think, is going to add a little bit more appeal to this pose. Then I think what I might do, I mean, I like how you have your bent knee here. But I think I might bend my other foot a little bit further back. I think I gave you this note last week to just bring it out a little bit more, this one. Because then, we can read this area a little better. Otherwise, you're creating a bit of a tangent. Like this forms this line here in visual space, and it just becomes a stick. So I lose what I'm trying to read there. So you want to give the audience enough sections of a character to be able to read clearly, and that's just one small thing you can do by just translating this foot over. So this part is good. However, I like how you're offsetting the different body parts, which is what we talked about last week. That's really great. Is that happening on your end?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay. I think it's all. Okay. I wasn't sure it was on the computer. Okay. So having said that, it's great that you're offsetting things, but you have to make things sort of believably offset. Right now they feel a little forced. So I think what I might do here is maybe bend my arm a little bit on this hand so that it just feels a little bit relaxed. And then start dropping the shoulder over on this side. And then keep the fingers and stuff down. Right now they feel like they're going up a little too soon, so they feel a little forced. So I would just keep them like dragging down a little bit longer, and then like right before he's going to grab the object, then you can kind of overlap and add a little bit of a flop, and then to hold the box to push it down.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening from this frame, that it's wide open here. And then here it feels like it's bent. I think what I would do as a pose is it's fine to have the nice open, make that more a little bit more appealing of a hand position. And then I would probably have a little bit more open like this. And then the next one can be nice and flat against the object. So then you're adding sort of a little bit of an overlap and then a grab. Then it seems like here from frame 15, I think it is, to frame 21, it feels like this arm here and the box are slipping. Like clearly it's not constrained. So, and it's really the relationship that I'm seeing here, this black space that is opening up and closing up. So it opens up and then it closes. And then that gives me the illusion that the hand is sliding. It's not an illusion, it actually is sliding. So you want to give the illusion that the hand is not sliding, that it's in place, and that's what's pushing this object to the side so that your other hand can slide in underneath it. Otherwise, you know, that's the whole definition, the illusion of light. We're giving illusion of things. And as soon as you start, you know, making things slide, they start looking lighter, because when something slides, they tend to be lighter in mass, versus something that's really heavy wouldn't slide once you grabbed it. And then right here, it feels like all I'm seeing is this pose, and then it goes straight down. All right? Boop. And then just literally, you're somehow sliding your fingers underneath it, but I didn't see the box come up off the ground when you're doing that. I saw it on the other side because you're pushing it down here, and then you're giving enough movement so that this arm back here can slide under. But the same thing isn't happening on this hand here. So you need the same theory, the same action, something that represents that the character is now pushing it up so that they could slide their hand under. Now, let's see. Yeah, I'm just not seeing it. I almost see it also even penetrating the ground plane here. So again, you're losing me just because of that. This whole stuff, this stuff where you're adjusting your foot, and there's a nice little pivot, and then slide and all that stuff, that looks really nice. That's the sort of stuff I want you to think about. Like those little small things are the details you need to add to those hands to make sure that they read and that they're believable. It's something that would actually happen. Okay, so now I'm seeing the box actually goes like this, in this direction, and then just pivots in place. So there is an arc. The problem is the spacing is wrong. So this isn't arcing, this area going up in space. And the one thing I would actually recommend is to actually go a little bit, this one I would actually recommend to go vertically instead of away from the character. Because the farther you pull this box from the center of gravity of the person lifting it, the lighter it gives you the impression that that box is lighter. The closer it's to someone, then it gives you the impression that it's heavier because you need more of the center of gravity from your body to hold this thing. Does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
almost like a weight, right? When you're lifting weights, if you got a 20-pound weight and you lifted it up out here, that would be much harder to do than to get the 20-pound weight and just lift it right here, right?
Right.
So that's the theory. So if it's further away, that action needs to happen really, really fast. So what I would recommend is to keep the box closer to the character and just have it translate sort of in this space up. And then all this can happen quicker. So like I wouldn't have these like straight arms for very long. I would have the character bring it up like this and then like a quick toss up. Boom. So try and shave off a few of the frames or look at the spacing in between them so that the spacing happens slower at the bottom. So if this was a ball bounce, like it's slower, happens fast, 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 and then boom, down. So that's the spacing of it, more or less. So slow, slow, up, fast. And then a nice easing and then adjustment with the character. That's all good, like the hip sort of adjusting and then coming back up.